Hi, we're the investments team. My name is Alice and I'm the sub-team lead, and I'm here with my teammates, Adam and KK. And in this presentation, we'll be going over a couple of different things, including an introduction of what investments is all about. And then we'll be diving into what we've been working on this semester, including private capital sponsorship, grant work research, as well as spreadsheets and modeling. And finally, we'll be going over next steps for the investments team for the future semesters. Despite Agua Clara's constant endeavor to design sustainable water treatment plants in developing countries around the world, lack of access to funding for plants and staff for training in order to build and implement the water treatment facilities has been a struggle in the past. The role of the investments team is to obtain donor and investor fundings by looking for donors who have funded sanitation and water treatment projects in the past with a focus in Latin America, and by reaching out to impact investors who don't necessarily want to make profit but are more concerned about making an impact. The first step to getting there is to show donors and investors projects that can yield a return, and the work we've been doing are geared towards achieving that goal. Since last semester, our team has been working on preparing to reach out to companies that can sponsor us and fund Agua Clara's mission. We have identified 3 potential companies that we believe have a good chance of getting back to us since their goals align with ours. In order to higher our chances of getting sponsored, we need to keep a few criteria in mind when creating our pitch. A few are: does your innovation have the potential to deliver substantially greater results per dollar than standard development practice? What is your evidence of impact to back this claim? Will your current request substantially strengthen or test your case for impact? And do you reach our target market? The 3 possible foundations are the Coca-Cola Foundation, which focuses on funding communities without access to clean and sustainable water, the Global Innovation Fund, which is a nonprofit impact fund that funds innovations that target the world's poorest communities, and finally, the MacArthur Foundation, which funds organizations that aim to solve complex problems within the world. Of the 3 we identified, we have begun working on the applications for 2 of the organizations, the Global Innovation Fund and the Coca-Cola Foundation. To briefly outline the application process, GIF initially requires a 1-sentence pitch followed by an application summary that describes Agua Clara's innovative approach, expected impacts, potential to scale, and how it plans to lead the innovation. Once our initial application gets approved, we will then work on the full application that includes more details such as information on budgets and plans, as well as interviews with various stakeholders. For the Coca-Cola Foundation, we are prompted to take an eligibility quiz that determines the eligibility of our organization, and then a full application including background, focus area, goals, purpose, current status, budget, and plans. To get a head start, we collaborated with the PR sub-team to formulate a pitch in order to effectively sell Agua Clara's mission to these organizations. The pitch focuses mainly on introducing Agua Clara as an organization, as well as the efforts that are being put towards achieving our mission and goals. Ideally, we would send this pitch after we submit our initial applications and even incorporate it into our application where applicable. Apart from the applications in the pitch, we wrote a draft of the sales email shown on the left that we would send the organizations or whoever is in charge of the grant we are applying to that introduces who we are and why we're interested in a concise manner. On the right is a screenshot of the document that we created a few weeks back when researching and learning about the organizations to fully understand the area of support that each of them focus on. Next, I'll pass it on to Adam to talk about grant work research.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alice. So as mentioned in the mid-semester symposium, the grant team aimed to achieve 2 main goals this semester. First, we plan on expanding our current grants database with upcoming grant opportunities that are applicable to Agua Clara and its mission. And on the left, there's a figure that showed our previous grant database and how it's formatted with names, deadlines, and objectives of the grants. Secondly, the grant team worked with the string digester sub-team to create a proposal for the EPA P3 program in the field of environmental engineering and sustainability. While the funding opportunity usually opens up in the fall semester, getting started on the proposal early would provide the string digester sub-team a clear focus for next semester, hoping to then finish the proposal and be able to submit it. So for grant work, after going through the previously listed grants and following up through their websites and contact information, the grant team noticed that many of them were inactive with no recurring funding opportunities. These grants were removed from the database, but ones with very similar current opportunities based off their previous area were left as a reference for Agua Clara. An example of this is shown in the figure with the collaborative science, technology, and applied research program. Additionally, upcoming funding opportunities in the near future were listed on the database, including several National Science Foundation and EPA grants. While COVID-19 decreased the overall amount of funding opportunities present on databases such as grants.gov and the Foundation Directory, several important connections with past grant contacts such as USAID allow Agua Clara to stay up to date with future grants and their releases. And finally, finishing up our work with the string digester sub-team for the semester, the grant team's collaboration with working on the EPA P3 proposal allowed us to complete the abstract. The abstract is considered extremely important in the review process for the grant itself. Therefore, thorough work in completing it not only presents the string digester's goals with what funding would be used for, but gives a clear focus for the main proposal. Our sub-teams are still waiting on approval of the abstract with Professor Richardson, where we are already beginning work on the research plan. The research plan will go in depth into the innovative experiments, technology, and application purposes of the string digester and its benefits as a wastewater treatment system. We expect this proposal work to continue into next semester, where the next string digester sub-team can focus on completing the research plan and eventually submitting the grant when the opportunity period opens up. And next, I'm going to give it to Kiki and Spreadsheets and Modeling.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about spreadsheets and modeling, one of the subjects we focused on this semester in order to achieve skills in financial modeling. First, I'll talk about what is financial modeling. Financial modeling is the task of building an abstract representation of a real-world financial situation. This is a mathematical model designed to represent the performance of a financial asset or portfolio of a business, project, or any other investment. Agua Clara mainly falls under the category of project, and so we are looking to get skills in project financing mainly. And so we did a course on spreadsheets and modeling to learn the basics of Excel and be able to build very complex models and learn formulas and stuff like that. And so our objective was to use financial modeling as an aid to finance Agua Clara sub-teams. And then our method was learning spreadsheets and modeling through Coursera's Introduction to Spreadsheets and Modeling. Okay, so some of the key applications we learned were problems addressed by Monte Carlo simulations and implementing Monte Carlo simulations in spreadsheets. But first, what are Monte Carlo simulations? These are simulations used to model the probability of different outcomes in a process that cannot easily be predicted due to the intervention of random variables. So one, the problems addressed by Monte Carlo simulations: the uncertainty in assumptions about environment, complex interactions among variables, high levels of accuracy important in assessing risk. Two, implementing Monte Carlo simulations in spreadsheets, identify type of probability distribution for key variables, apply distribution to random number generation, run simulation model a large number of times, and assess probable outcomes and compare to risk. This is a screenshot of a Monte Carlo simulation that we used for a cash flow table. And this is one of the last examples that we did in the course. And finally, our end result, even though the spreadsheets and modeling course was tailored more to personal use, it served as the foundation for project financing, which is particularly applicable to Agua Clara in terms of project financing. We found that these skills were very valuable in terms of being able to build on and build very basic models with real data. And that's something we hope to work on next semester. And now I'm going to pass it on to Alice to talk about our next steps.
Thank you, KK. I'll be wrapping up by going through our plans for the future. First of all, we plan on submitting applications for the Global Innovation Fund and the Coca-Cola Foundation, and on actively pitching ourselves to get the maximum funding possible. We'll also be continuing our work with the string digester team and submit applications for the EPA P3 grant in the fall. In regards to financial modeling, we plan on using our knowledge from the online class we took this semester on building practical models pertaining to the finances of Agua Clara. And last but not least, we hope to recruit new members who can help us in achieving our goal of building financial models and gradually pivoting away from relying on grants for funding. So thank you for watching our presentation, and please feel free to reach out to Adam, KK, or I for any questions, suggestions, or concerns. Thank you.